Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we will study about navigation and routing in Angular. Okay, before proceeding further guys, make sure to subscribe my channel and turn on the bell icon if you have not subscribed yet. And without any further delay, let's start. Okay, I open my folder using this open folder. I click here and I open my folder Angular routing which I created in Windows Explorer, and then open your terminal and here write your command to install your Angular. This is my Node version 16.16.0 and this is npm version. And now here I install my Angular npm install -g is globally, and then Angular CLI. It will take few minutes for installing. Angular is used for single page application. First we will study this beginner level for routing and navigation concept, and after that we will study about intermediate level. After that he asked me, would you like to add Angular routing? Yes, and then CSS. Click on enter, installing packages npm. It will take few minutes. My app is UUP. Okay, you can write any name. Like I my app name, I write here ng new, and I write here UUP. In place of UUP, you can write any name, but whatever you want your app name, you can keep any name. Okay, so I write here UUP is my app name. Installing packages npm. I will show you. I will show you here some packages installing here inside src. This is app folder. Inside the app here app routing module.ts. This TypeScript file is present here. Here routing routing will be happen. I will show you how to do routing. And this is CSS file. app.component.css. This is main file. Okay, and this is HTML, and this is TypeScript file. And index.html, this is the main file. Installing packages. Okay, you can see this successfully initialize Git. Okay, my Angular is successfully installed here. Okay, and I will show you my app. So first, come inside the app. Okay, and run the command using ngserve. Again, it's running, and it will show you your Angular app in the browser. These all code are present here. This is Angular code. Okay, is by default code is coming here. Okay, and here CSS file also code is present. Okay, now any code present. And this is app.module.ts file where you can generate any component. So every component name will be generated here automatically. Okay, here only one component present here right now, app component. So app component is showing here. If you create any other component name like course component dot html, then course component will be showing here. I will tell you later. First, I will show you this Angular app. You can see this. My app is running here. UU app is running. Okay, this app is Angular app is running fine. Now come to your Visual Studio Code, and now uh, let's start to do navigation and routing. So first, I remove all this using Control and A. You can select all and remove this. And here I write H1 is headline, and I write here routing and navigation. Navigation concept in Angular. Okay, and I use here router outlet. And this course's UI, we are going to display app.component.html. So only we have added router outlet, because this router outlet is a root component and it is responsible for the rendering of the UI Angular application. Okay, because without this we are not able to rendering the Angular application. So it is necessary. Then your output show in the browser using router. Without routing, you are not able to uh, navigate or showing your output in the browser. So here, if you are not want to save again and again, then you are click on here and click on auto save. Then automatically it will save. Okay, then go to the browser. On earlier, you can you could see that your Angular app is running here in the browser. But now, when I change here app.component.html, when I write here routing and navigation concept Angular in H1 headline, then it's showing your output in the browser same. When I coming here Visual Studio Code, so router outlet is a route component. It is used for the routing purpose. Okay, now I will show you how to generate the component. I will create here three component. And I will create here two button, and this two button next and back button is used for responsible for navigating one screen to another screen. Okay, so here I generate the component, and G means generate, C means component. Next, I will create here next button and back button. And when you click on next button, then next screen will be generated. And when you click back button, then you back to the another move to the another screen using navigation. So you can see here my component is generated, and all three file, TypeScript file, HTML file, CSS file also present here. Now I will generate another component. Okay, it will create a back button. And so here I write some code here. You can generate, you can take the component name, anything you can take. So you can see this, the my back component are also created over here. And now I create another component. Page not found. So here another component is also generated, page not found component. You can see this, my all three component is generated over here. Okay, so this is the HTML file. Here some code already written, paragraph inside the paragraph they written backworks. And here also one line of code also present here, and here also present. When I click on here, and this is the TS file, and here in the uh, back.component.html, this is the back.component.html. It is present here inside component decorator. This is a component decorator. So HTML5 present here this component decorator, and this is pointing the HTML page. Okay, so information in the back.component.html, um, we want to display it from app.component.html. Okay, so information in the back.component.html, I want to display this information from app.component.html, which is the root component. Okay, app component is the root component. So, so how to do? So we want to display this app.component.html in the browser. So we do routing. So how to do routing? Come on the folder. I will close this folder. Then you will not to do any confuse. Okay. And here I want to do routing. When you open want to open back component file, then you then output show of your back component code, and when you want to show your code next component, then it will show on your browser. So for this purpose, routing is important. Then your any component code will be shown on the browser. So if I want to show back component code on the browser, so open your so routing is important. So I will do routing app routing.module.ts file. Okay, and here you can see this import ng module and router module and routes. It all already written code. We can't do anything here, but here I will do some routing. Then it will navigate to the your back component code will show on the browser. For this purpose, routing is important. So I do here routing. I write some code for routing, and here I will give some path. Then it will navigate the browser. So here back is the component path back. I want to show um, back component code on the browser. So it will navigate component. Okay, and here another component is next component. So I also give the path for next component. Then it in the browser it also navigate to the next screen. Then see this here cube fix has come. So fix it. Okay, so error is removed, and is showing that you are not save this file. So please save this. Okay. Uh, After that, come on the browser and refresh the browser. Okay, first run the code. ng serve open. ना झुको तो मेरी ना से हाँ झुको मैं तो मेरी हाँ से. Here you can see my output, and here I click here next. You can see this. You can see this next works. And if I write here, why it's next works code is showing here, because in the next inside the next component in the HTML file, here write code is written here next works. Okay, so I give the path in the app routing.module.ts, so that's why it's showing my output from next component. And if I write here back, so it is showing my output backs works, because inside the backs component here the code is written here back works. Okay, that's why it's showing inside your output in the browser backs works. So you can see this routing is working properly, and this way you can provide the routing in your Angular, and my routing is working properly. So, so whenever you navigate to the back, then it is displaying the back, and we are navigating to the back. But if you want to navigate to the next, it displaying the next, and it will show in the browser. So we have configured two routes, back and next. So in this way you can do your routing. And what we learned here, routing is route how to do routing. Routing is done, and I use here router outlet. Why we will do here router outlet? Because information in the back component.html or next component.html, but we want to display the information from app.component.html. So router outlet is necessary to write here. Without router outlet, we don't able to show your output on the browser. So information available in back component or next component will be displayed from app component. So router outlet is necessary to write here this line. Okay, so routing is done, and another one is navigation. So second one, I will add two button, one button for next and one button for back, because we cannot expect that user to uh, navigate one screen to another screen by using to edit in the URL, and then to navigate one screen to another screen. We can't expect this. So by changing the URL and navigate or routing one screen to another screen, so it's not a good. Uh, so uh, so we can't expect like this. to type URL, then you are taking him another part. So this doesn't happen. So in order to avoid that, we are add two button. Okay, and when you click on one button, then you will navigate to the next screen. When you click back button, then you navigate to the next screen. Okay, so if user click on the next button, then they are going to take him to the back part, and when user click on the back button, then it navigate to the next path. Okay, so so it's not good to edit on the URL and then navigate. So for this purpose, uh, two button if two button if I created here, then anyone can move easily without doing anything in the URL. So let's to create a button, two button. How to create two button? First, I write some HTML code. When you create two button, one for back button and another for next button, then routing become possible and easy. So inside the app.component.html, I write here code. I use here anchor tag. Okay, I want to create two button. So I copy this and post paste here second line, and some changes. So next I will edit and write here back, because back button also there, and here also back button. Okay, and here br tag is used to provide some separate line and provide some space. This is button 1 and this is button 2, and I provide here router link. Next, a router link back. Okay, and router outlet तो रहेगा ही रहेगा. And in router link we are going to pass the path, and we are going to navigate, and router link is active, is responsible for CSS class for corresponding router. So for this purpose I use here some css code as well, and save this. Why I'm not saving autosave? And come to the css file and write some css code, then your button will be looking good. First I will try. Here you can see this, my two button is coming here. The next button, next and back button, but it's not looking good because these two button are very close to each other. I want to next button here and back button here. So I will provide some css, then this button, this both button are looking good. So write here some css code, open your app.component.css file and write here some code in html. Here inside the class custom button one is present here. So for class we use dot. If I in the place of class, if I use here id, then we use uh, when I write some css code, then we use here sarf or has, we can say. But class, for class we use dot. Margin right, right, yes, margin right. How much? 40 pixel. And then padding also needed. 15 pixel and 40 pixel. The same code I write here for for back button. Okay, so I pasting here bottom, and this is for button 2, for next button and for back button. Okay guys, go to your browser and see your button. This is next button, this is back button. Okay, when you click here next button, so here your code written here next works. When you click back button, you can see this back works. So here earlier we do we did some changes in the url. For next I write here slash next, then it route, then it will be routing there. And for back I write here slash back, then routing and navigation was there on that time. But I create here two button, next button and back button. Then in the url of the browser, it do changes by its own. When I click a back, it's showing url back, and back works code is written here. When I click on next, it is showing in the URL next and next works. So routing is done without changing any URL in the browser. With the help of two button, we are easily navigate and routing one screen to another screen. Okay. So when I click here next button, then it navigate to the back path in output. When I click here back, it navigate to the next path in output. So basic routing is happening, and where user click on next and it navigate to the back. Okay, in this way you can do routing, but this is very beginner level of I teaching here. But when you create a large app or big advanced level of app on daytime, this routing is also necessary. So app.component.html is the root component we are going to display. Okay, so now we will learn. Uh, next is how to. We will learn another concept: handle invalid URL. How to handle invalid URL? Okay, in the browser, many time invalid URL come. So how to handle that? So we will learn in this video. So handle invalid URL. Invalid URL like in place of next, I write here anything like type and click on enter. So it is not showing like any this is invalid URL. It is not showing in your browser. So how it is showing? So if I use invalid URL in browser, so then we navigate to the user to the charts 404 page not found. But here I write here type, which is not in the case of my routing, but it not showing like 404 page is not found. So if URL doesn't match any of the configured routes in the Angular, whenever user enter any unconfigured route, then it has to navigate page not found component. Okay, that's why I created here page not found component. Okay, so right now I provide a invalid URL, but it's not showing page 404 page is not found. You can see this. But when I write some code in app.routing.module.ts, then it must be showing your status that this is invalid URL and page not found. Okay, so first I created here already page not found component. Okay, for this purpose, I open my app.routing module.ts file, and this app routing module.ts file is responsible for routing Angular application. Okay, it provides the path. So I write here bottom or copy this because I want to save. I want to take my time to explain more rather than typing. And here I write. Here I provide the path. Not page not found component. Page not found. You can see this, it's showing like an error, but it is not error. When you click on here, it give you a dialog box to qfix and click on here. Okay, we makes your page not found component must be import here in approuting.module.ts, otherwise it's showing error. So when you write any code here, must import your component uh, inside of approuting.module.ts, then it will be routing, otherwise not route. Okay, so make sure all the component must be import in app.routing.module.ts file and app.module.ts file. You can see this, my all three component, next component, back component, page not found component, all are present here. So, so go to your browser. First, if I just say go to the browser. Now, when you write invalid URL and click on enter, it's showing page not found works. Earlier it is not showing that your page not found. But right now it is showing page not found because you are placed here and valid URL. Okay, I hope you understood about how to handle invalid URL. The yes, one more thing, you must take care about that. Where is a plotting? Okay, one more thing is that you always keep the path at the end bottom. Okay, you always give the path at the end. Okay, page not found, always give the path at the end. Why? Because the router try to match the path from the top in Angular app. Okay, so most specific route at the top and least specific route at the bottom. If I write here this page not for component at first, then router match the path from the top. So it match the path from the top, then page not found component will be matched first. But it is not a more important thing. More important thing is back and next button. So always that more priority thing will be right over at the top, and least specific or least priority thing you write on the bottom. Okay, I hope you understood this concept, and